Well, before we do begin, I have two things to say. If there is any random encounters that happen tonight that are played based on the Twilight pulling of cards out, you can blame my wife because she pulled out the 3 cards and it's her fault, okay? So that's the first thing. And second thing, this is a game of survival after a World War III. So there's a lot of shit going on in the world in real life at the moment. So all I'd like to say is if you have a few spare pennies, go across to UNICEF and make a donation to a good charity to help those in need in certain parts of Europe at the moment. Right. Are we ready? Have we got our Welsh accent ready? Mr. Parker? No, you're muted, Mr. Parker. I can't hear you. That's a fake way of doing it.
No, it's perfectly. No. That's how it's going to go.
Excellent, excellent.
I have no idea what a Welshman sounds like.
Okay, that's good.
So,
fortunately, our other English, our other Scotsman. Sorry, this is not Casper. Our other Scotsman has got his voice perfectly tuned. Our fine American friends here, of course, don't need to put on the accents. They've got it on. Anyway,
I think it's a cop-out, personally, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Back to the story. Welcome, everybody. It is the... Let's do it right. SITREP, 21st of July, the year 2000. Our intrepid survivors of the 5th Mechanized Infantry's assault during Operation Reset got battered, beat up, banged up. Because, you know, in war, the only winner is war itself. People just have to survive. Our local players escaped from the carnage, from the death, the devastation, and the destruction of a Soviet attack, with wounded personnel on board, and headed away from the fair, ruined town of Kalisz in eastern Poland. With an injured commander, our intrepid lieutenant, Second Lieutenant Parker, led our players out of the battle zone. And after a little interlude with a group of hunters and some very interesting smelling meat, these players ended up in the ruined town of Tareq in order to secure medical treatment for Captain Alison Robinson, who was the senior American officer who'd taken several bullets into her back and was badly injured. In order to get her treated, medical supplies were required. And the good doctor in Tareq did not have those medical supplies. He was waiting for some to come in from the local merchant called Casper. But Casper said he would supply these fair people with the medical supplies they needed if they would do a little bit of a job for him. There was a Soviet roadblock that was blocking those supplies coming in, stopping that vital medical treatment for their captain. And as heroes and survivors do, our players went out and defeated the enemy. Returning, they got the medical treatment for the captain. Unfortunately, the captain's injuries were severe. She survived, but her spine had been damaged, and she was unable to walk. After a night of rest, where issues of who was a spy and who was not a spy in the town, and many investigations are done, our players retired for the night. In the morning, Lieutenant Parker was going to speak to Angelique, the German young lady they picked up only a day or so before, to discuss why she couldn't let the good doctor stay here and why the good doctor would have to come with you when you left Tareq. Doddy, our intrepid Scotsman, our demolition expert, saved the town after an artillery barrage threatened everything, and an unexploded shell devastated the town. But he stepped in and did what he needed to do, earning a good amount of vodka and schnapps And Doddy, you said at the end of last session you would enjoy indulging in that brief respite. And so all four of you, plus Angelica, slept. The best sleep you had after battle. And as we begin our tale once more, Lieutenant Parker, you feel something upon your shoulder. Eyes kind of open, and you can see a Polish woman in a nurse's outfit stood above you. She looks at you and smiles and starts motioning because you know she doesn't speak English. She speaks Polish, and you don't speak Polish, do you? You speak Russian. And she's kind of doctor.
Okay.
Seen him, have you? Where? And as you kind of open your eyes, you see Doddy on his in his sleeping bag with his head resting on his backpack. You see Jake, and you see Rick, just kind of lying down after a sleep. You can just feel the throbbing of your head from the minor graze on your temple from combat was just kind of tinged slightly. You look around and you can't see Angelica anywhere, but you can see Rick, Doddy, and
okay.
Kobe.
Yeah, I climb up out of my sleeping bag, kind of rubbing my eyes.
She starts waffling off in Polish very rapidly at you, ushering her arms up and down and kind of pointing. And you can see you're actually in the surgery, in the doctor's surgery, in the front study room that you were in when you first arrived, where you'd spent the night sleeping. And the rest of you three fine gentlemen kind of wake up at the sounds that you have from this brief conversation. Your eyes kind of open and see you're in the doctor's front room, which is a bit of a storeroom now, on the surgery area where he has his little mini hospital. And Kobe, you kind of see all this, and your first thought is, nurse coming in, is the captain okay? That's your first thought. And you kind of wake up, and you can see looking around, there's Doddy, there's Lieutenant Parker, there's Rick, but no Angelique in here. You see the nurse. Doctor, where?
Did Angelica actually speak to Parker in the end?
No, speaking to you in the morning.
Okay.
It was late after your interrogation of Boris, and it was just a case of speak in the morning and let you know exactly why he had to come with you out of Tareq. Okay, so what are the three of you doing at this? You're all had a most relaxing sleep. Had probably the best sleep you've had in several months. You felt, although you know that there are Soviet forces that are coming, you felt almost a sense of peace, a sense of normality, despite the chaos that surrounds you. What are Kobe and Rick and Doddy doing? As Parker is trying to negotiate and talk with the Polish nurse that's in the room with you. You're all dressed, maybe half stripped down in your fatigues. Yeah, you definitely could do with a wash, Been a rough few days. It's been 3 days since you escaped from Calais, so time hasn't been on your side. What's the plan? And Mr. Parker, what's your plan?
Do you guys want to go first?
He's not woken up yet.
It's been
I'm going to go check on the truck. Oh, well, what's up, Kobe?
Just 3 days since you picked me up in that Humvee, man. A world of time has passed. I can't thank you enough for doing that. But this Angelique, I mean, we met her kind of just on the road. And then we heard rumors of the Russians looking for a female. Now she's gone. This something to be concerned about? Maybe we should talk to the LT about it. I know he's off trying to learn Polish for some reason.
Well, yeah, I heard the nurse yelling something about the doctor being missing or gone.
Oh, that's no good. There's still a captain to look out for.
Why don't you check on the
down,
captain?
you
I'll
guys.
check on the truck.
Oh, come on. Just stop. Just the talking. Just my ears, man. Come on. Another 5 minutes.
Put in your earplugs, Daddy.
Aye, all right. Let's go. Oh, man. Oh, I think
you're still screaming. You're still talking very loud. I don't think your hearing has come back 100% yet. Hone it down. I'll head off towards the captain.
At this point, Parker, the nurse grabs you by the arm and drags you out of the room into the hall. And opens the door next to yours, and you can see it's empty. There's a single bed in there. There's some pictures of some Polish family members. You can see the doctors there with a young girl looking much younger, and another woman there. And you can see the nurse kind of points at the bed, and you can see it doesn't looks like it's been slept in. Doctor, need.
Well, the girl we came in with. Have you seen her?
Kind of shrugs. Are you Paul Rusky?
Yes.
Yes. She then turns to Russian. Ha! Okay. Well, where is the doctor? I have not seen him. I need him. One of our patients is injured.
The girl we came in with. Have you seen her?
Not since last night. I haven't seen her.
When last night? When last night?
She was in the room with you, and I have not seen her since. You went to sleep. She was in the corner. But I need your friend, your man. He is a doctor, yes. Him. As the nurse grabs Kobe into the operating theatre. Well, I say operating theatre. It's a study with a bed on it and some very minimal medical equipment. You can see, Kobe, you can see a 18, 19-year-old young Polish man there. He has got some wood sticking out of his side, and yes, he is bleeding very badly. Hopefully you can all hear us. Yes. Hope there are screenshots.
Yeah, waiting for somebody to say okay in stream, but yeah.
Yes, right. So let's have the first roll of this evening. Jake, quick, let's make a medical roll. See if you can save this poor fellow.
Okay, making the medical roll, I will look over to him and say, looks like a part of a fence post. When you sit on a fence, the war makes you decide. And we'll roll.
Okay. You are struggling. He is bleeding quite badly, and what you're doing is not stopping. You can see the nurse comes over to you with some surgical instruments. And she kind of holds up a scalpel and kind of looks at you. Doctor, gone. We need
more bandages. We need more sheets. We gotta stop. Get me help. Woman. We need more sheets to stop the bleeding.
Don't forget, Rick is actually a combat medic.
Just saying. Was it Rick that was the combat bit? Sorry, I thought it was Kobe. Okay. Well, Rick, you possibly would have seen this, and leaving Doddy to his how can I say it? A thumping headache, perhaps, from the amount of excess vodka and schnapps he was given, because he is the savior of the town. He saved so many lives when this shell did not explode. So maybe you're outside as well, and you can see Kobe seeming to struggle struggle there, and you're kind of thinking, I'm the combat medic. I'm not sure why he got called in. Maybe it's because he assisted the doctor yesterday in surgery. That's obviously it, but you can see that he seems to be struggling inside.
Rick, you better come here.
Yeah.
This is not a splinter. This is a big piece of wood.
All right, so I come over, and I'll combat medics. For some reason, I can't read it. The scroll rolls right past it. Let me look it up in the.
You should be able to scroll down on it on your thing.
The way it's working on my character sheet is it's just not. It's not.
Combat medic automatically gives you +1 modifier to medical aid rolls for helping an incapacitated character get back up to.
Okay.
So
no effect on injuries.
Yeah, no effect on treating.
So that's not going to help. But I do have slightly better dice.
Yes. So yes, just roll it. But don't you?
Medical aid. Public roll. Let's go. Yep.
Nice.
2 successes.
Okay, you can see that you come in, kind of just assess the situation. You grab a bandage, you remove the wood, and in a matter of few minutes, you've stabilized a lot of the bleeding. And and it's like 10 minutes, and you're there. So we'll leave you being heroes. And Kobe, you're kind of amazed at the calmness that he comes and puts across as he is tending this wound. It's almost like the blood and the chaos and the pain. It's just got a nice focus in on the situation.
I'll say, good job, Rick, and then I'll turn over to the nurse and say, you see, I told you, bandages, not scalpel, not needle.
She kind of shakes her head, and she must be, definitely old enough to be your mother, if not a bit older. Kind of just shrugs her head and kind of clips you a clip round the ear as she walks past you. And she goes and gets some more bandages now and then continues to help. Meanwhile, Jodie.
She's embarrassed about not being able to tell the Americans apart.
Okay. Meanwhile, Doddy, kind of Parker went out of the room, and then Rick and Kobe went out of the room, and suddenly you had a moment of just a few moments of peace as the effects of the little bit of vodka you had last night. You kind of wake up.
Feels good.
And you can look around and. Definitely, I know Angelica in the room. She came in last night with you think, and went down into the corner away from the boys as such. You kind of look over and her bag's not there. Her blanket and sleeping bag is not there. And she definitely put those down last night. And her rifle's not leaning against the bookcase like you think that's where she left it last night.
Aye. Well, that's one less to worry about. I suppose I better go find, some coffee, I think. I wonder if I got into a fight last night. I hope the other guy's in a better state than I am.
Much celebrating happened, much celebrating. You are the hero of the town. Okay. You slowly kind of get up and just kind of, get yourself together. Lieutenant Parker, you kind of left by the chaotic scenes in the opposite room.
Yeah.
You're kind of looking around, and this room, it looks like it was a front sitting room. You can see there is a single bed in there. You can see these pictures of the doctor, and it looks like family. He never said anything about family, so you don't know if where they are or what's happened to them. But you kind of look around, and there's a nice bookshelf, and there's lots of books that you can't read the writing, so most of them seem to be in Polish, a couple in Russian, a couple of medical books in Russian. You can see it's fairly neat and tidy. It's not a mess. The bed, the sheets are all folded and definitely hasn't been slept in. You guys came in probably about 11:30 last night, and pretty much crashed. You were all pretty exhausted after the combat, and then the shelling of the town, the bomb, disturbing Boris, and a few things you saw still disturb your British sense of dignity. But yeah, it looks very neat and tidy, very, very efficient in how it is. But definitely no sign of him. You can see a coat hanging on a coat hanger. That was the coat he put on when he ran out when you first arrived. But yeah, definitely no sign of him here. And you can see, just looking out, you can see Kobe and Rick just looking like they're tending some sort of injury or something in there. You see lots of blood on the floor down by their legs, but they look like they've slowed down and stopped panicking.
Okay, I'm going to wander over to you say there's photographs.
Yeah, there's a photograph, yes.
So I want to go and examine those first and see if we can get a good look at this guy's family.
Yeah, this is looking at how old he is now. It's probably about 20 years ago, and then you look at the scene. There's a car in the background, and it's definitely a much older style of car. And again, Polish and Soviet era vehicles, they were very, very basic. You can see a young girl, maybe 8-9 years old, well dressed, and you can see the woman doesn't look familiar to you. No. You haven't seen her, but you can definitely see there is a sense of the appearance. You know, the eyes are definitely the doctor's eyes, and she's got she looks a lot like the older woman that's in there that looks like mother to her. And they are stood in a group. It looks like a photograph. You can see he's there in his finest suit, which for that sort of time, the late 70s, early 70s, totally different style to what you remember going on and being worn in England and Wales 20 years ago. Definitely shows the difference in culture between the East and the Western blocks of Europe. But yeah, there's definitely a familiarity with the girl to the mother and to him. The girl's got his intense eyes. And they look happy. Well, semi-happy.
Right. So you say there's some medical books in Russian.
Yep. Yeah, there's a basic combat medic type book, battlefield injuries and how to treat them. And you kind of flick through. There's pictures there, and you can see what they say. The writing is in Russian. You're not a medical man yourself, so you're not really sure how good the instructions are, but they seem concise, very regimented, very militaristic. Definitely is some sort of Soviet bloc manual.
Okay, I'm just looking for some kind of. I'm wondering if anybody's left a message or a note.
Okay, well, there's a desk. You kind of have a look on the desk. Kind of open a few drawers. You do open one drawer, and there is a very old revolver in there. The gun looks like it was halfway through being loaded. One shell is in, and there's a few shells scattered around it, and there looks like, and there's a bit of damage to the drawer as if maybe it was slammed shut. Oh. But no notes or anything. There's a notepad there. Doesn't look like it's been used much. There is. Looks like there's a list of stuff, but it's definitely in Polish, not in Russian. Looking at it, there are some similarities in certain parts of the language, and looks like possibly a list of supplies or medical supplies, maybe the stuff that Casper was due to bring in on his last trip. But nothing else around there. There's a chest with some clothes in it. Not many. There's a few sets of clothes: underwear, socks, trousers, jackets. Again, a very traditional sort of style for the era. But yeah, nothing else there. I said a lot of the books are in Polish, so you don't understand them.
So apart from the drawer, and the half-loaded gun, it doesn't look like there was a struggle in this room at all. There's nothing.
No, nothing.
The floor,
no.
Or that.
In fact, it looks maybe too neat.
Oh.
And as you come to think of it, you can see that, yeah, the chair behind the desk is put back perfectly straight. The pens are all in the pen pots. There's a pencil there, and you can see that is in the pot as well. Yeah, if there was a struggle, then maybe something would have got knocked over. There's a candle on a candle holder, and it doesn't look like it's been lit. There's a box of matches right next to it, very neat and very square to the end of the desk.
Okay. The other thing would be, I'm going to go into the other room where Dodd's asleep.
Okay, yeah, you can see Dodd. He's stood there and maybe scratching the slight stubble on his face. In fact, none of you have actually shaved since the battle at the medical camp. So yeah, you're all kind of Maybe you need to smarten yourself up just a little bit, Yeah,
smarten yourself up.
Yes, and you. Yes, but you can see him there, and maybe rubbing eyes. You know, he was given a lot of drinks. There was some vodka, some schnapps. There was some home brew pitched around, and you did kind of smell some of it, and it smelled really strong. But Dodd's a man that's proud from what you've seen of him so far, and
I can take it.
He can take it. Yeah, he can take it. So yeah, you see Dodd in front of you, just kind of up, probably just looking over in the corner where Angelique dropped down to sleep last night.
The girl's gone.
Oh.
Looks like she took the doctor with her. I don't bloody know.
What the hell? That's not the only thing that stinks in this town, by the way, Mr. Parker.
Well, it's a post-apocalypse. I've not had a chance to have a wash. What?
I'm sorry. My heat's not quite there this morning. There was that stuff that they gave me that was like green at the bottom and fizzy and brown on top. I don't know what that was, but oh my god!
It's called pond water, mate.
I could stick my head in some pond water just now. I think it'd probably do us a good. Listen, I'm trying to piece the events of last night together, and there's a point where I just can't even remember anything. I didn't fight anybody, did I?
I don't think so.
Not that you remember, no.
I mean,
maybe some things are best left forgotten, eh?
Well, but there was something that I was chatting to Rick just on the way out when we were talking to the police, the local Tunes constabulary. I think that was him. And, well, he said that he found a girl that was killed with an American's knife. And at that point, like, it was a fucking Russian knife listen, they're trying to stitch us up. There's some folk in here in this tune that just, I don't know what their game is, but it absolutely reeks to high heaven. And I could do with a shower myself, so.
Well, don't you worry about that now, eh?
We need to get going.
We do.
Okay. So I asked the nurse, does this guy want to keep this wooden fence post thing that was impaled in him?
She kind of looks at you holding the fence, the post up, and of course she doesn't speak English. She don't speak Polish, and she
Right.
kind of shrugs her shoulders at you and goes about and just again moves him and just makes him comfortable and starts cutting off the clothes around where you did your work, and she's looking at and she's taking no notice of you, holding this fence post, this piece of wooden splinter.
I just put it down on the bed next to him. I don't know, maybe he wants to whittle something out of it. Remembrance.
I don't know, Rick. I don't think you'll be teaching them baseball anytime soon.
Never know. It could be like, a souvenir of that time that I got impaled by a wooden post. Wouldn't you want to keep something like that?
At this point, I just want to get home.
That's a good point. Let's go find the others.
Yeah.
Okay, so you all return back to the room where you slept. You see Doddy stood up and Parker there, deep in conversation as you come in.
Yeah.
Hey, I just had a thought. Maybe Angelique left us a note or something?
Yeah, I was going to check over in the corner. That's where she was sleeping, apparently.
As you look, her rifle's gone, her blanket's gone, her backpack's gone, and she's gone.
Well, she said she couldn't leave the doctor in town here. I suppose they wouldn't have left on foot, would they?
Wait, is there... She didn't take her Humvee, did she?
Yeah. That's our eyes go wide.
Yeah.
And we all rush out.
We're all rushing out. We're all scrambling out of there.
Stop the pigeon! Yes, you kind of rush outside and look across the street to where Doddy so carefully repaired the Hummer, fixing the wheel and getting it going again. And you can see the Hummer's gone. Totally gone. You look around, left and right. See nothing. You kind of look at your watch. It's about 6:30 in the morning. That's probably why Doddy is a little bit maybe worse for weather. A few hours sleep. You look around, and there are a few people walking around. You see Casper's bar. Across. It's closed now, and you can just see two of the young ladies that work in the bar, kind of crossing the square. You see, you don't know what the other girl's name is, but you see Ivanka, Boris's young lady. His whatever they were together, and you can see they split up, and one goes off down past where the young girl was murdered, and you can see Ivanka is walking past now the doctor's surgery. She kind of looks over at you, and there's almost a kind of lowering head, as if there's a sense of embarrassment there, seeing at least a few of these people that sort of burst upon her while she was engaging in certain activities with a Soviet stud.
In flagrante delicto.
Yes. And she kind of just nods her head and smiles and just keeps walking, and then kind of just she stops almost as you she kind of turns and walks over to you.
Did she speak English? I can't remember. Did she speak English?
You haven't spoken to her. She kind of looks at you, says something to you in Polish.
Yeah. We don't speak Polish.
She kind of just cocks her head and...
You speak English?
Russian. And she speaks in Russian. So again, you, Doddy, and Rick and Kobe, you don't understand Russian, but you see that Parker seems to be conversing with Ivanka.
Yeah, I don't understand English at the moment.
Well, you're a Scotsman, of course not.
So
she kind of.
I just say to her, look, I'm really sorry about what happened yesterday.
It happens. It happens.
She's taking that very well.
In my business, there is unfortunately always a chance that, and unfortunately, Boris, he doesn't
Boris, eh?
like to say no, and we do what we have to do to survive. How can I help you? You are the Englishman, yes?
I just nod. I'm not even trying to explain it to her.
And he is Scotsman. And, Casper was going on about dresses, skirts. I don't know. He was drunk last night as well.
And look, you were in the bar all night.
Yes, we tidied up, and I am just walking home to get a few hours sleep before being back for early afternoon on my shift.
You know the girl we came into town with?
Was a German girl? German girl?
Yeah, the German girl, yeah.
Yes, I saw her. Did not like her. She was too abrupt. There was you when you came into Boris's room were at least considerate of the situation. She was cold. I did not get a good feeling about her.
No, well, you're probably a better judge of character than I am. Hey,
Yes.
I don't suppose you saw her leave, did you? I mean, did you see anybody take a car? Truck. You see anybody take a truck?
Your jeep? Yes. Yeah. I was in the window, and a German girl took the vehicle. She walked with the doctor. He seemed a little reluctant to go with her, but I thought that maybe he'd decided that being alone for so long was time for some. How can I put it? You know.
Yeah, sure. And I one sec. And I turn around and I explain all of that to the rest of the guys.
She kind of turns again as you're doing that. And they did seem to be walking very close. She was hung right on him, arm around his neck. Yes. Very close.
I don't think he went willingly.
She took the truck.
Aside from knowing which direction they left, Casper probably has enough connections around the area to tell us where they're last seen.
You can see Ivanka just kind of looking at you.
We don't have anything to trade with him now. Everything we had beside what we're carrying was on the truck.
You're joking, right? We got the bloody hero here. He seemed quite taken with him.
Seemed to need an escort for his truck.
Yeah.
You can see from Ivanka.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Do you know what time of day that was when she left? Was it the middle of the night? Was it just 10 minutes ago? When was it?
It was early hours of the morning before the sun came up. I would say
a couple hours ago.
Yes, three. The bar was winding down. I was cleaning tables and looking out. Yes, I was. They went that way, by the way.
And which way is she pointing?
She's pointing south.
Right. Okay.
So the exit out of town.
Back on towards the main road, right?
Yeah, well, basically, the road you came in on was southwest. That's the Calais road. She's pointing down the road that went south. So if you're on the
Correct,
map,
south.
so this road, this exit out of the town here, let me just move the car.
Yeah.
So you came in basically from Calais up this way and across there, parked over here, and then went into the town. She's pointing down this road and going south.
Okay. Bollocks. Well, she's got a few hours on us.
But LT, you can't be serious. Isn't that all Russian now? Russian controlled territory to the south?
What do we have in the truck, Dodd?
We've got our water, our tools. We've got ammo.
About 40 litres of
We've got
fuel.
Petrol.
4 AKs that you picked up from the roadblock. Some ammunition you picked up from the roadblock. Parker, you kept one of the AKs and one clip, I think, of ammo for the AK you picked up. The Russian uniform you relieved from the dead Soviets. Scout was in there as well.
So all our rations and everything were in there.
Yeah, no, your personal rations will probably be with you.
With us, okay.
There was 33 litres of fuel, the basic toolkit, the US radio was in there.
Anyway, so
What happened to Sparks? What about the radio operator?
He took some minor damage when the vehicle exploded, but it was just minor damage.
so
And
he's in the infirmary, right, where we were.
you didn't see him, and he wasn't where you were. And Dottie, you seem to remember that when you were going out to the bar for the celebration, he went over to was going over to the Hummer with a few bandages around his cheek, which took the brunt of the damage, and he was going to go and check over the radio and just check the radio.
So is Ivanka still there?
Ivanka's still there, yes.
Yeah. I don't suppose you saw the young fella, the other guy who got hurt.
The pretty injured one, yes.
Yeah.
Bandage.
Have you seen him? Have you seen him this morning?
When your friends and you came over to the bar, he was going over to your vehicle. I didn't see what he was doing, and I don't remember seeing him come away from the vehicle, but
He might have decided just to sleep in the back of the truck.
I wonder if she
And
bloody
then when
knows.
they absconded. She might not.
Well, if that's the case, he might be able to still reach us on the radio that they have there.
But unfortunately,
Do you have a radio?
all of our radios are in the truck.
even the
As a
Russian
matter of
radios
fact.
you picked up were in the trunk.
Again, there's Casper.
Oh, yeah.
Except an IOU.
I don't know how much we want to get in this guy's pocket.
I'm
It's your
not
call,
for-
LT.
I'm not really too keen on walking back to Germany.
Well, I don't disagree.
It's
But if
only
we're
300
going to
kilometers
make a
west of here.
decision, we should make it quick because she's getting further away.
Well, that's
My
the
bet is
question.
they're probably on the road because I doubt she's good enough to drive cross country.
I won't put anything past her right now.
Fair.
She seemed quite capable when you met her in Berlin.
Look, we got a choice now. We either go after her, try and get our things back, or we cut our losses and head north.
I'm for cutting our losses. If we run into another vehicle, I can probably repair it if I have enough parts, and we can keep moving. I don't think heading south back into the full-on war zone is a good idea.
You do remember when Angelica first joined you, she mentioned the city of Krakow.
She did. The free city of Krakow.
Free city of Krakow, which is southeast of here.
In the other direction from where we want to be.
Yeah.
But she did say there was a free city, anyone was welcome, and they had electricity and water there.
I haven't even got the freaking map. I bet that was in the Hummer as well, wasn't it?
No, the map would have been in your backpack.
Cool. I'm going to haul out the map, spread it out on the ground in front of us.
Spread it out.
Yeah. How far away from us is Krakow? To about 370 kilometers by road. Thank you, Google. Wonderful tool. It's a bit of a bloody walk, isn't it?
You can see Ivanka is stood there as you're kind of looking over the map.
I don't suppose you know anybody that's got a car, do you?
Probably Casper.
She points to the map. Casper, he has a few vehicles, I'm meant to believe. He has a workshop somewhere hidden in the town. I do not know where it is, but he has been after components and mechanical parts for whatever this project is. Ludwig, his mechanic, that works the steel and the generators that power the little bit of power we have in the bar. He is doing something for Casper. But Casper will have something. It's whether you can afford to pay the piper.
Uh-huh.
I know Boris was going out on a trip today nearby. It is interesting. These are... She kind of points down a little drawing. And these are the Soviets, and these are the NATO
I'm folding
troops.
the map up very quickly.
No, I've never seen a map like that. She smiles.
Yeah. You haven't.
You look a troubled man, Lieutenant. Is there anything I can do? Please do ask. I am clean, well taken care of. The doctor looks after me. She just kind of reaches out, just strokes her finger down your cheek. There definitely seems to be something going on here, guys. You know, yeah. And she smiles.
Yeah.
I have no idea what she's saying, and I don't want to interrupt. However, maybe Casper has need of somebody to go to Krakow for him.
I'll tell you what, maybe you should just go get some sleep or something, eh? You've had a long night by the sound of things.
Thank you. My place I have just down that street. It is the Grinto on the right. A block or two up from where you interrupted. Boris, you have to be careful of Boris. He likes to get things his own way. He doesn't like him, and he points at Rick.
Grayson, yeah.
Sure.
Doesn't like him.
Well, I don't think I've got anything to worry about with Boris. See you later.
Well, I do hope so. She kind of smiles at the three of you. Just kind of waddles off down the street.
Well, there's somebody who's very happy in their work. And I look towards Casper's bar. That's where he hangs out, right?
That's where he hangs out, as far as you're aware. You can see it's closed up. There are a few people. You can see a few chairs are being repaired outside by a Polish gentleman. As you look around, you can also see walking around the Polish police officer, Alek Kaminski. He's slightly dirty, an old style police uniform.
I tap.
He's another reason why we need to get out of town.
Yeah, and I'm starting to feel drunk now because the effects of all the alcohol haven't left my body yet, and I'm still starting to. But the fresh air is starting to hit me, and you see my face just looking a little bit kind of peely wally. Yeah, it's not good. And I just nod.
Good walk will perk you up, Daddy.
Yeah.
Aye.
Head of the dog, boy.
Well, let's just go before this shit heat gets here.
Okay. I'm going to start walking towards Casper's place.
Okay, yeah. Are the rest of you going with him, or are you doing something else?
Going with him.
I think I'm very anxious to hear.
Okay, yeah. You kind of...
You know, I'm going to try and see if I can find this garage that Casper has vehicles in.
That's
okay.
I'm just going to walk around town.
Okay, right. You head off and start investigating around town and start looking. Let's have a newly skilled recon roll from you.
All right. Still not great, but let's see what happens.
Okay.
I'm going to push.
Ooh.
Push it real good.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
There it is.
Nice. Okay. Yes, you get a success. We'll come back to that.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. You gentlemen, Doddy in your slightly. How can I put it? Delicate stage.
Not good when I walk back through that door into Casper's place and I get that smell, and I'm just like, no, that's not good. And then I hang back a bit, and then I kind of feel a little bit. Yeah, I go find one of the toilets. The home brew, I think, was just a little bit too strong.
Okay.
And my stomach is churning, so I go into one of the toilets and I just empty my guts into the toilet.
Yeah, and you can see as you empty your guts into the composting toilet, the smell of the toilet kind of gets you somewhat even more. Because, we don't have much sanitation in war-torn Europe. And yes, it's not a pleasant sight. You hear him kind of running as you get to the door and straight into the toilets, and you get that smell as the door opens, and you can see Boris is sat at a table, and he seems to be... he's got lots of bullets on the table. He's counting up and sorting out bullets into different calibers. Bullets are used a lot as currency in this fine world because everyone needs bullets. So you can see he looks, my friends. Doddy, is he okay? Please come and sit. This is very early for you. Please sit down. Sit down. He smiles.
I'll kind of go in, sit on the table opposite him as he's counting his bullets.
You can see there's quite a lot of bullets on there. You gotta just kind of move them slightly. And yes. What can I do for you?
Nathan.
It was a good night. Yes, a good night. Your friend, he drinks like a pole.
He drinks all that bullets, did he?
He drinks both for him. Do not worry. He's a hero in the town.
I'm glad to hear it.
You're back. Yes. Better?
I'm feeling much better now. I just need a drink of water. Will see me right, I think, for this moment, and then maybe some hair of the dog. That was. Aye, I feel better. It was a good night. Thank you for your hospitality.
I said the drinks last night. Well, you made good friends here. Doddy. You make good friends. My kilt-wearing, no knickers man. Scotsman, yes.
Aye. Well, if you ever
Yes.
find your way over the North Sea, then you're absolutely welcome to come and stay with us, and we'll return the favour at some point. I'm just going to go and, if you didn't mind, get a drink of water, because I'm feeling a wee bit empty at the moment.
Yes, if you go to the bar, there is some water there. Should be okay. We do not have good filtration systems here, but he'll be fine. It is okay. It is very clean. So what can I do for you, my friends, my English and American friends, and my Scots friend? What can I do for you?
Is Casper around?
It's Casper. He's talking to you.
Oh, you said it was Boris.
No. I said
Oh, okay.
Casper. No.
That's me. That's just got
Boris!
Boris.
No, Boris. Boris speaks like this. He just wants to kill you.
Yes.
So.
I should have known. It's been a while.
Well, what do you want? What is up? Did you move your Humvee?
No. Somebody stole it last night. Somebody stole Doddy's Humvee last night.
Oh, that is not good. Perhaps we should get the police officer over here. He will help you out. He has a special affinity.
With what? Exactly.
Solving crimes. You know what? He always wanted to be a policeman as a little boy. Grew up wanting to be a policeman. Okay,
I suppose that's all that's required, right?
he gets a chance. Well, someone had to stand up, and he wanted to stand up, you know? You know, Boris is good, but Boris is just a thug, a bodyguard. And he's from here. He likes this place. I am also from this town. It is why I stay here and conduct my business and help the people out as best I can. So you come to the bar. What can I do for you? You seem to think yesterday that Soviets were going to come this way, so I was surprised to see you here this morning. But now I see that you have lost your vehicle. It is unfortunate.
It was the girl that came into town with us.
Ah, the German girl, yes?
Yeah. She took the doctor with her.
She took a doctor with her? What? It is not good.
No, you've lost your doctor, and we've lost our Jeep.
That is not good.
I think she was seen heading south.
Dr. Laskowski was also from this town. Why would she head south? How did you see her go? Did you not stop her?
No, we didn't see her leave.
How
But
did you
Ivanka
know?
did. Ivanka saw her.
That was lucky that she saw that. So you're going to go and get your Humvee back?
Well, that's the problem, you see.
Ah, yes. You have no vehicle.
Aye. And you've got no doctor.
That is true.
How long do you think it will be, though? How far can they get? Where could they be by now?
If they went on the road, they can be 30. And let's have a look at travel speed.
About 3 hours, right?
Yeah, they could be probably at least down to
100
east of Calais. Yeah, I mean 10, 20, 30, 40. Yeah, it's
a bloody way to Krakow by now.
and they go to Krakow. Krakow is a good place. I have contacts in Krakow. It is a free city, you know. You can get almost anything in Krakow. They have water. They have power. They even have military forces to defend it. It is a free and open city. Anyone is welcome there. I think the future of what is going to happen with this craziness that is going on, this devastation, this stupid war. No, war is only good for one thing. Or it is not even that good for business.
No. Well, unless you're selling bullets or something.
Everyone uses bullets to buy things. But you came to me for something, didn't you? You need, how do you Americans put it? And he looks at you, Jake. Wheels. Yes.
Well, it is quite true that due to Dottie, you prospered yesterday.
That is true. Dottie did help the town here, and
look at the sacrifice he made for your profit. And I just look over and I point to him, and he's in wretched condition. He kept drinking and drinking and drinking, putting the profits straight into your endeavors.
The only problem I have is my truck has gone back out. In fact, my truck was heading down towards Krakow.
That's right.
But
Well, that's a shame. We could have hitched a lift with old Boris then, couldn't we?
Boris is still here. Do not worry, Boris. Boris is loading up my other vehicle that I have. He has a little trip north.
You know what?
That's not the way we're going.
Perhaps he could postpone that trip.
As I would love to have him postponed, but I need Boris to go and pick up something for me. But I am getting my men here prepared for anything nasty that could happen with the Soviet forces coming up from Kalis. And I must admit, as much as I enjoy your fine company and I enjoy seeing your man's capacity to drink vodka very much, I would like you out of Tareq. If the Soviets come here, and I'm sure they will come here from what you've said, I would not like them to see you here. American uniforms and Englishman uniforms would not be good for business here. So, I could let you have my vehicle. It is an old Polish military jeep. It is okay. It is in good working order. But Boris has to take it just up the road, about 10 kilometers towards the nearest village. I have some supplies to trade with a farmer there who has something that I graciously do need. I have
There's
got my
nothing else.
men.
That's all you've got? This Polish Jeep? Nothing else?
That is all I've got. There are a few other vehicles around, but there is not much fuel here. You know, there was a bit of fuel on your Humvee, but it seems that the young lady has taken it. But I tell you what, because Dottie was such a good friend to Tareq, and because he drinks so well, I will give you that vehicle. You can go with Boris. Try not to kill him. He is very valuable to me. And the equipment he is picking up for me is good. The only problem is the farmer that he is going to see. Well, this man does not like Boris too much. You see, Boris got a little bit familiar with the man's daughter. But they have some equipment for me, and I have some things to trade. I intend on trading some some fuel and some spare parts and some other bits and bobs in exchange for this piece of equipment I need to generate and work the improve the generator that we have here, so we can get more places with power, if you know what I mean. We need to get more semblance of power. So if you would be willing to travel to the next village, maybe take the lead from Boris and maybe sort out the exchange for me, bring back the component, and once I have that, you can be on your way with it, and we will call that debt cleared, and you can go to Krakow if you want, or you can go to Germany if you want to. I do not mind, as long as you're out of Tareq before any Soviet forces get here. Would you be interested?
Given that the farmer doesn't have much like of Boris, neither do we, so we can understand his sentiments. Wouldn't it be preferable if we went to negotiate with your parts while Boris stays here with you?
That is indeed true. But what would... and I mean no offense. What would stop you from just making off with my Jeep? It is not like...
What's to stop us from doing that anyway, eh?
Certainly not Boris in any case.
Well, it would not be just Boris going. My mechanic would be going with him. My mechanic maintains the steel here that produces the fuel that we use for the generator we have. He is going to be fixing up the large generator that will help the town, and you will be denying all these nice people that you have helped. You've been denying them a life.
Then send him with us, and Boris can stay here and protect you.
I do not need protecting, but my mechanic Ludwig, he is a quiet and reserved man. He is not good with loud noises or guns.
All right. We'll take Boris, we'll take your mechanic, and we'll go and get this stuff for you.
Excellent. That is fine. And I tell you what. Yes, that will be the deal completed. And you should be there and back by late afternoon, early evening at the latest, and you can get out of
Should be in bloody Krakow by then.
How easy is it, do you think, to drive on the roads in an American vehicle? The area is surrounded by Soviet forces. She will have to take the vehicle off-road across the river if she wants to go to Krakow. Oh, mind you, there are a few barges and boats that go down the rivers and do training, but did you come straight here on the road from Kiddies where your forces were destroyed? No. You took your time. You traveled the road. You went through the forest. You will not go straight. She will not go straight. What you have to do is know that she is going to Krakow. If she is going to Krakow, and do you believe that she's going to Krakow? From what I understood, there were German forces north across the river. She is German. Why would she take the doctor to Krakow? What is it about the doctor? I mean, he has been here for a few years now, but you seem to know something.
No. But the Russians seem to want him as well.
The Soviets want him. Interesting.
The artillery was getting aimed at the doctor's surgery. Those shells... Aye, it did. But it landed on that woman's house. Flattened it.
They found a girl's body in with her. She came in with you, did she not? The young girl?
He did.
It is unfortunate that war takes people so early. It is devastating. But we have, how do you say, a deal, yes?
Yeah. Bit in hand, shake hands with it.
He does the same. And do not worry, my English friend. It will be fine. It will be fine. Okay. All right. You will be heading north. Just follow the northern road out of town. Boris will be back shortly with the vehicle with the supplies on it. It is a small village just outside. I'm finding my notes with another brutalized Polish town. I'm going to brutalize Władysław. It's 10 kilometers north. It should not take you too long to get there. The man you wish to speak to is Stanislaw Mikalski. He has a son, Jan, and a daughter, Gabrielle. That Gabrielle is the spitting image of her mother. Sophia was a beauty, a beauty. Stanislaw and we go back a little bit, We had a little.
Nope. I think we've lost you, mate.
Friendly competition at who would get the lovely Sophia and Stanislaw. Well, he had more to offer than I did at the time. But
this farmer, he's giving this stuff. Wait, the trade is beneficial to him, right? He's not just giving you this stuff because he's.
No. I'm sending some penicillin, some medical supplies, a small generator, some fuel, and some two rifles, and a little bit of ammunition. He has a small little farm. It is he has chickens and a couple of cows. Plus, he grows potatoes and stuff. So he has protected himself. It is him, his son, his daughter Gabrielle. She is
Lost your stream.
Boris got a little bit amorous with Gabrielle on a previous visit. So yes, but I need Boris to go because he is my main man as such. But yeah, there's a few of them live there.
Perhaps, though, it would be wise in this case to instruct Boris to stay in the vehicle while we conduct the negotiations with the farmer. There's no need for him to enter the house, the barn, or to interact with the farmer on this one. It would only be to your benefit.
Of course, I'm sure your Polish is impeccable. He smiles. You do speak Polish, yes?
We have a Russian speaker here. His Russian is quite good. Enough to charm the ladies, apparently.
Oh, really? I see. Well, the son, the eldest son, Jan, he served in the Polish army. He may have some Russian language, but Stanislaw, he does not speak anything but Polish. I do not know. I have not seen Gabrielle since she was a small girl. Perhaps she speaks some Russian as well. I do not know. But I will await Boris. He should be back fairly soon. And yes, we will. And gets up, goes over and grabs a bottle of vodka and four glasses, puts them down. We shall drink. And he pours a shot at each of you.
Vodka for breakfast.
To our new accord, our friendship, our business arrangement.
I tentatively reach for the vodka.
It is good vodka, and he tots it down. And Doddy kind of...
I grab it. Hair of the dog.
Hair of the dog is good, yes. Hair of the dog is good. Right, while you guys are while you guys are negotiating with Boris, we come back to Rick. Rick, you are heading towards the outskirts of town. You see there's quite a few people around getting up morning. You see some of them are heading out of town as well with there's a horse and a cart, and there's some people with tools for tending the land. And there's a fair few going out, and there's a few that kind of turn away from you as you are walking along. A few kind of remember seeing you from last night, and there's a raise of the hand. There's a couple of children there that are kind of looking fascinatingly at you in your American fatigues as you go snooping around looking for something. So what are you looking for? You're looking for a garage? How are you going about it? What, just going to the outer parts of town?
Well, I mean, just kind of walking a grid pattern, trying to get a sense, looking at the buildings, like what buildings might be reasonable for. Okay, yeah.
You kind of move almost like a search pattern out of the center of town and start looking around, and there's a lot of buildings that have been destroyed. Some of them look like they were destroyed a couple of years ago. A couple of the buildings look more recent. But what you do notice, after about 25, 30 minutes of walking, you do notice a fairly largish building. Looks like it was some sort of factory. Looking at it, it's been quite damaged on one end, but you can see there's some new fencing being put up, a gate, and you can see a couple of Polish men stood there with AKs just inside the gate, just keeping an eye, and there's see one walking around the perimeter. You look, you can't see anything and see anything through it. It seems well covered, but there's a building to your right which is opposite. So you kind of go in to the building, and you see it's unoccupied, bit of damage, stairs partially caved in. You carefully make your way up and find your way to the roof. Lose your footing once. There's a few loose bricks and mortar kind of drop in, but you kind of make your way into the building. You can see, looking out over this factory, you can see the guards, and you're only about 10 foot or so above the gates, but you can see looks like a military Polish or Soviet military jeep parked in there. You can see Boris and a couple of men are loading some supplies into the back of it. You can see a big building. It's got a quite a large, probably 10 foot wide, 8 to 10 foot tall doors on it, just partially open. You can, as you look in, you don't get a good view in, but you can see that there is definitely power in there. You can hear the hum of a generator. You can see some electrical lights in there, and you almost think you see some arcing of a welding torch. There's definitely something in there, but you can't make out exactly what it is. It's not the best position. Getting in there, if you manage to sneak in, you'd probably get a better look. But that's what you see from your initial look. But this is definitely Casper's men that are here. You see Boris there. You can also see an older gentleman, greying hair, a big bushy grey moustache. You remember seeing him the night before. He kept himself to himself, but he was definitely working for Casper. And you seem to remember that Dottie kind of pointed out that was the mechanic that was looking at the still that they unloaded and parts they unloaded from the truck that came in from the last trip out. But that's what you see after you've definitely located whatever Casper's men are guarding. But yeah, hard to see exactly what it is, but definitely there's some welding going on inside.
All right, well, I'll head back towards the bar now that I know where it is.
Okay, yeah, you've definitely pinpointed the location, not a problem. You'd need to do a good search around the area to see if there was any places where, an expert, stealthy, sneaky sort of person could get into and maybe find a better spot to reconnoiter the area better. But yeah, you head back to the bar, and as you're walking on the road, you see there's a beeping, and this Polish UAZ 469 utility, the Soviet Polish version of a Jeep, kind of goes by, and there's a tinking. You see Boris in there driving, big grin. He kind of slows down opposite with the American. Walking, yes, I drive, you walk. And you can see the older gentleman with the grey hair and the moustache is alongside him, and he kind of almost cowers down away from you, looking out the other side, and just kind of almost, he almost looks like he seems haunted by something. And see Boris kind of revs up the engine, and the vehicle looks like it's got a bit of damage. There's a bit more smoke coming out of the exhaust than you'd expect. But maybe that's to do with the fact that it's probably running on alcohol fuel. And he kind of beeps and accelerates up, and he chugs a bit as he goes forward, and he heads back towards the centre of town. Meanwhile, you guys in the town, you hear a vehicle coming, and that's the first time you've really heard a vehicle since the truck came. You can see this Polish Jeep there. And you can see Boris getting out of it. And see Casper. Boris is here. I shall sit. Let me go tell him the good news that you are going with him.
I'm sure he'll be thrilled.
I'm sure he will. He kind of stands up, chuckles, and walks out and starts talking. You see Boris's hand bangs down on the bonnet of the Jeep, and he kind of turns towards where you are, and you kind of see him mouthing a curse in Russian, and he doesn't look happy at all. And see Casper kind of puts his hand, and you can't see Casper's face, but you can see he just starts to talk to Boris, and a few minutes go by, and Boris kind of turns and looks at you guys in there. Then he kind of turns around and he sees Rick kind of walking from his little trip. Americans. He kind of raises his head at you, Rick, as you come by. Seems we have a road trip, American. This should be fun.
Is that right?
You can see the elderly gentleman with the grey hair and the moustache. He stays sat in the car, and he's almost crouching down. You can see Boris is armed with a pistol. He's got a big knife on his side, and he's got an AK strapped to his back as he stood there. And you can see Casper. Your friends are inside. Please go in while I finish my conversation with Boris. Now, Boris, it is okay. It is okay. And they switch to Polish at that point as you kind of go in. For the rest of you inside, Boris does not seem a happy chappy. You don't think he's looking forward to a trip with you guys.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's looking forward to it as much as we are.
And Rick, you come in through the door.
Good game as I walk past him.
Rick, You get into the cafe stroke bar and see your companions sat down. It looks like they seem to be enjoying themselves. There's an empty glass of something in front of them. No glass for you, so yeah. And you join them.
You have any joy?
Yeah, I found what I was looking for.
Is it better than that piece of shit out there?
Could be. Didn't get a look inside, but they're definitely working on something in there. How would you classify guard presence? You said I saw a couple of guys out front.
You saw two guys on the gate. You saw at least one walking the inside perimeter. Yeah, but that's all you saw. You definitely heard. You saw the welding torch going from inside, so you have to figure there's at least one person inside welding, and there's probably more inside. Probably 6 to 8. You don't know how many men that Casper has on the payroll, but there is a few there.
So, I mean, it's an option, LT, but it sounds like you guys set something else up.
Well, Casper says we can borrow the Jeep. But we have to do an errand with Boris first.
That hunk of junk that he rolled up in?
Aye.
I guess we could keep that running.
We'll get it working.
You can drive anything, right?
Yeah. Between Dodd and I, we can keep it running. But still, there's a lot of arc welding going on inside that garage. I have a feeling they might have an APC or even a homemade APC in there.
Suppose the problem we'd have is fueling it.
You're not wrong.
We know that.
When are we going on this errand?
No,
I look out of the window.
You can see Boris and Casper kind of turns and pats Boris on the shoulder, and you see Boris kind of stands by the driver's door, kind of looks at his wrist. There's no watch on there, but he kind of looks at his wrist and looks in.
Well then, show's on the road, eh?
Let's assemble the gear.
Might as well.
Okay. So, are you picking up your packs and taking all that you have?
I think we should.
I reckon.
I'm lightly encumbered. Yeah, I'm going to take my pack.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not leaving my stuff anywhere for anybody else to take.
Nah.
Exactly.
Okay, well, you go and gather your belongings, your backpacks, any of the spare equipment you had in your personal inventory. You kind of come back, load it into the back of the Jeep. And the Jeep, it's got 2 seats at the front, and there's some equipment already in there. You can see there's a small either petrol, alcohol driven generator in there. You can see there is a small box, probably about 2 foot by 2 foot, and on the stamped on it is mines. They look American in the style of the box. And the fact that it says mines in English. You can see a bag with a couple of rifles, some bolt-action hunting rifles. There's a bag with some medical supplies, and there's some food supplies, and there's a couple of jerry cans of fuel in there. You kind of get in, and you're getting in. I think Casper kind of leans through the canvas flap on the back. Oh, please, my friends, just go easy with Boris. I do not want to lose him, and I would not want to lose any of my new friends here. Yes.
I take it you've given him the same instruction, yes?
Oh, yes, he has the same instructions. I do not want trouble. If Boris tries to harm you, there's every chance that you will come back here and try and harm me and my friends in this lovely place. And to be honest, no offense. And Doddy, I mean this with the utmost respect. You are a fellow that I would love to spend more time with. But if the Soviets are coming, I need you out of here as quickly as possible. You doing this little deal for me solves two things. It helps me out with a little issue that I have. It helps out the farmers out there. And yes, hopefully you will go, as they say, swimmingly along and nothing happens. I mean,
climbing into the back.
What could happen?
Yeah, just sitting down with my head in my hands. I just look up at him and well, when this is all over, you get yourself to Scotland and I'll return the favour. But for now, I'd be quite glad to get out of your town as well. So, no offence, eh? Thank you for your hospitality.
No problem. No problem. Okay, and Boris starts the vehicle up. You can see there's another gentleman sat alongside him. Doddy, you recognise him as the man that was supervising the pieces of the still coming off the wagon that came in when the supplies came in after you dealt with the roadblock. He seems to be Casper's mechanical genius and expert, but you saw him around last night when the drinking was going on, but he kept himself very much to himself, didn't interact with people, and kind of moved away when people went to speak to him. Definitely a definite loner. So, okay, so the vehicle. Yes.
As we drive off, would this be a good point for a break?
That's like a perfect place for a break. Shall we continue?
Yeah, let's get on the road.
Yes, let's do that.
So this thing is big enough for us all to be in the back?
Yes, it's big enough for all of you in the back. It's
so it's like it's not like a Jeep, it's like a truck.
It's their version of the Hummer. It's the Polish and Soviet version of the Hummer. So it's got space for driver and 6 passengers, I think. So the 4 of you squeeze in with your equipment and the spares and the parts that they've got there. And it's cozy. It's definitely not as comfy as the old medical Hummer. But alas, Angelique,
there's no beds? There's no beds in here.
There is no stretcher beds in here. So yes, you are
that
going to
doesn't
have
stop
to.
me. I'm going to lean up against the wall. Tip my helmet down.
You did do a bit of walking, didn't you? Yes. Okay. You lovely people. You head out of Tareq north on a road that doesn't look like it's been maintained in a few years. There are a few potholes. There is cracked asphalt. And it's a strange summer morning in June. You travel up the road and you see damaged and destroyed and burnt out buildings. You see, as you glance across some of the open terrain, some of the fields that are there, you see evidence that tracked vehicles indiscriminately went across, knocking down fences and hedges. Looking to your left on the other side, you see some people working in some of the fields there. You see some horse-drawn vehicles, some carts. You see one that's got a large tank on it and seems to be dispensing water out to those that are working in the fields, weeding and looking like they are trying to make something of the crappy and grim situation that is going on there. And you all kind of, when you're just basically keeping a little bit of an eye out but not doing too much, still the sound of no aircraft flying in the sky seems strange, but you do pick up the occasional sound of birds flying as you're driving along. The journey is fairly bumpy. And yeah, it's not the most pleasant thing, and it doesn't take you too long to travel the 10 kilometers or so, and you come across a couple of farm buildings off to the side of the road, and you can see Boris is slowing the vehicle down. You can see in the distance another settlement ahead of you. Again, you can see a few destroyed buildings. You can see a damaged church. And you can see as Boris kind of pulls off the road, about maybe 50 or 60 meters, you see a farmhouse building. You see some crops and some flowers in a large front garden. You can see a track going down. You can see a couple of other buildings around there. What really stands out is there seems to be some sort of barricades around a lot of it. There's a field and you can hear chickens. You can see a cow in one of the fields, but you can see the whole place. It's surrounded with a fence. You can see there is some barbed wire on the top of the fence, and you also see pinned onto a sign just on one side of the field. You see this little sign come up. It should be in your journals now. And this is pinned and attached to a couple of the posts in the area just outside where the fence is. You can see Boris bangs on the back, kind of pulls the little window aside. Be careful. He has the area around his mind. He points to the sign that says in Polish minefield. Maybe remember
Wonderful.
that. Remember that. His son is a former Polish soldier. Don't know why he's not still serving. You shall see his beautiful daughter soon enough. And he kind of, but we let you go, and it seems you are negotiating with him or something, or talking with him and checking him out. Some reason he does not like me. I do not know why. So please do your best. I shall sit here. As he pulls out a cigar, lights it, and I shall enjoy the view. As you look over, you can see the front gate opens, and you can see a figure stands there. It's a young man, dark hair, short dark hair, maybe early to mid-20s. What kind of strikes you is his eyes are very sunken and hollow as he looks over. He's got a bolt-action rifle, and he's just kind of looking.
The son's name was Jan. Jan, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we just pulled up outside the farm, right?
Just pulled out, but about 50, 60 meters away.
Yeah.
You can see as you climb out, you can see there's a few more of these minefield signs scattered, 50 or so meters. That indicates that outside of the fence there is maybe something nasty. You see he just kind of looks at you. How are you getting out of the vehicle? Are you carrying a weapon? Leaving your backpacks in the back of the Jeep?
So they shouldered everything.
Yeah, I got the
Weapon slung, but
Slung, yeah, I think. Yeah, climbing out the back.
Okay.
And LT, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll stick in the truck with Boris. I'll teach him how to play American card games. He'll enjoy that.
Yeah, just keep him away from the door today.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think this fresh air will
head
do me
into
the
the
world of
front
good.
cab.
Good luck
And
with the big
I
man.
nod my head at the mechanic. Are you coming?
Yes, I come. He speaks English. I come with you. I need two of you to carry this generator out. That is the main thing that Stanislaw wants. Kind of just keeps his head and he keeps kind of looking away from you, not trying to turn. You can see he's fairly old. He's got a big bushy grey moustache, quite a lot of grey hair. Again, looks like he's seen a lot in his life. And yeah, it's just, yes, I need the two of you to carry the generator, please.
No problem, Haas. I got it.
Okay, yeah, you kind of, it's heavy, but yeah, you could probably manage it alone. Just you're a big, strong, strapping lad.
All right.
LT.
Yeah, I'll be climbing out. And I'll say in Russian, Jan, right?
He kind of looks at you, nods his head. You can see he's got a hunting rifle, and he also slung is an assault rifle slung behind him, and he's got a pistol. He's wearing a flak jacket, definite military fatigues, Polish military, no helmet or anything. Yes, he says in Russian, yes. You are from...
Casper. Casper says hello. How's the old man?
Alive.
You okay?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you. Definitely looks like he's seen something. He's got a very
1,000-yard stare. Right?
a very, very haunted look in his eyes. You can see the gate opens and a young girl, I say young girl, maybe 22, 23. You can detect the similarity. She's got a much thinner face, short hair, again, not long or anything like that. You can see she's in some civilian clothes, boots. You can't see any weapon. And she kind of smiles and kind of waves at you. And is my sister Gabrielle.
Heard a lot about you.
Keep the Russian from her, or I will kill him. And then I will kill you all.
Sure. We
No idea what's being said. I'm just like, just go, Haas.
We brought the supplies.
You can see the young girl comes out. I said pretty, considerably pretty. No makeup or anything like that. But definitely a pretty young girl. Yeah. She kind of looks over and says in English, you have Papa's supplies? Yes? Would English be better for you? You do not seem like any of his normal individuals. She kind of looks and kind of stops and just stares at the vehicle. Okay.
I mean, does she look like she's trying to see if Boris is in the truck?
Oh, yeah, she's looking directly at Boris. He was driving the truck, and he's sat there with his cigar. Yeah, and yes, yeah. You can see Boris kind of turns to you, Jake. See what I mean? She is a pretty one. She has the pluckiest little breast you have ever seen. And she has good childbearing hips, you know what I mean?
Yes, Boris, perhaps it's not wise to dwell upon that in this situation.
But we must repopulate the species, did you not think so? And she is of the right age.
Yes, I understand you're doing a good job in town repopulating the population.
Already? I was just fucking Frank. She is not a bad fuck. So, well, you kind of saw, didn't you?
Have you ever played gin rummy before with two people?
Yet, no, I have not played. I am watching this. You can see he's got an assault rifle, and it's down by his left side. His left hand is there, and his hands are almost twitching to try and maybe grab it. And yeah, he's kind of staring at the young man that's there. You can see back to the three of you. As you, Rick, are carrying the generator with Doddy's assistance towards the gate, please be careful there. There is some mines just to the right and left of the gate. We have to protect ourselves. We have cows and chickens and milk and stuff.
Sure.
I will walk where you tell me to walk.
You can see Ludwig is kind of fucking, and he kind of you need to show me where I go to work. He's got a toolkit. Yes. Jan, could you show him? Perhaps you. He kind of looks at. She kind of looks at you, Evan. Would you like to go with them? And you see Ludwig, that will not be necessary. It'll be fine. You see Jan kind of looks at his sister. It's okay. It's okay, Jan. It's okay.
I'll say in Russian, don't worry, he stays in the van.
You see Jan just kind of just holds, he's got this bolt action hunting rifle. Yes. Perhaps.
I mean, if you want to kill him, go right ahead.
He kind of looks at you, and he almost seems to be weighing it up until his sister. It's okay. Go and take Ludwig to the back where the things he wants are. How long will it take you? I need to see if the party's there first. Casper was quite insistent that. Kind of, again, this Ludwig is speaking English. Wants the gearbox intact if possible, but I need to see if I need to dismantle it first.
Why not give you a why not give you a hand? I say
okay.
to Ludwig.
It's okay.
No, I insist.
You must stay here and make sure Boris does not cause any trouble.
No, well, that's what Kobe's doing. I'll come with you.
I could do with a hand.
So.
And you can see the girl kind of, I'll take your men inside and we can put the generator down. It will
that would be great.
Broken.
Holding this big generator.
Come this way. And she kind of leads you through the gates. And you can see there's quite a lot of barbed wire at the top of the fence. And you can see as you're going in through it, there is some apple trees growing in the front. You can see small little apples, not quite ready to pick yet, but it's been a while since you've seen fresh fruit. You can hear chickens clucking in the back, and you just hear a cow, and she kind of says, I have some milk if you'd like something to drink.
I would really like to put this generator down first. I'm about to drop an O-ring, so if we could, get this to where it needs to go.
Come with me. You see, Jake, you can see the gate being closed as your companions go inside. See, Boris, this is taking too long. He kind of opens the door and gets out.
I'll open it. door and get out as well.
He's stood there as if he wants to act.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Picks up the assault rifle and he just stands and starts looking at, just in case any vile marauders come. I need to be ready to defend the vehicle.
Just be careful where you go. There are landmines, remember?
Are there?
There are signs. Let me tell you a secret.
Yes.
It looks like we were bringing him landmines. No doubt to plant to help protect.
Yes.
I have no doubt that there are landmines around this area.
Should we go and check? Are you brave enough?
Absolutely not. You were told to keep the vehicle. If you go and check for landmines, that's to stop me from taking the vehicle. Let's stay here.
Seems to consider what is to stop me killing you.
I am.
Really? You think you think you could kill me?
Boris, I am sure I could hold off long enough for my friends to come out of that house.
You have seen me naked. You know the magnificence of this form. You stood there while that German bitch stole your vehicle.
If it's any consolation to you,
Yes, please go.
I was with Rick, the man you hated, and he was fine to let you finish your work, and so was I.
Yes. You Americans are enjoy your debauchery of watching. I heard that your country is inundated with pornography, that you do unspeakable things with animals. I can imagine it now.
I understand the Soviet propaganda has gotten to your head. What else do you believe that you are told from your Soviet overseers?
I am not working for Soviet military now. I am independent.
But you don't think like independent. You think like Soviet brainwash.
As I'm sure you think the same of me. This is a magnificent body. Alas, I am not your type. Now, that German bitch you were with, I would have easily filled her up and broke her. But she is gone. Did she steal all of your supplies? It must hurt that you got so drunk last night that you did not even know what was going on. Perhaps.
We are capable men. What is lost can always be found.
Ah. Really? He kind of leans against the Jeep, kind of cigar out, and
Boris, maybe you'd like to join us and also find that fine German woman of which you speak so highly.
She will come back, and I will kill her. It is a guarantee. I do not go chasing off of German whores and bitches.
You yourself said it was time to repopulate. You can't do that by killing off eligible women.
She's not eligible. She was poisoned. You know it. I know it. You saw it. I saw it. The only one that did not see it is your friend. That Englishman, the lieutenant. Strange. How you follow an Englishman? You big, strong American. You follow Englishman. Aye.
He has rank. It is only proper.
He has rank, but he has no place here. He is not a fighter. He is not one of us.
There has to be structure.
Shits his pants in combat. You can smell it on him. I saw how he looked away while I was with Ivanka. He was intimidated by this magnificence. My manhood was a shock to him. He has a small, how do you say, wiener? Yes?
Boris, I think the world to come will need more people like you. I think it is good that people like you survive.
You think we will survive? You think you will survive this? The world has gone to shit.
Not back home where I come from. I'm going to go back home and everything's going to be just fine.
When was the last time you heard of home? We shot nuclear missiles at each other. I know that there were cities in England that got blown up. The missiles went across to the United States. Our submarines were out there, your submarines out there. The war has rendered this place hell, plague, poisoned. Warsaw. Have you seen what is left of Warsaw? You did not see the devastation. It was one of our tactical nukes. It was taken out, and then missiles were fired, and Warsaw is nothing. You do not think that any of us are going to survive this? We are all going to die here. These people, they have a few chickens, a few cows. But the soil is irradiated. There is disease and pestilence all over the place. This is the end of the world, my friend. War. There is no peace after this. When was the last time you heard from home? Yes. When was the last letter you got? When was the last time you tried one of those... I saw an advert for one. It was a little telephone, Nokia or something. I do not know brands. When was the last time you heard?
Sound cut out, Strain.
Sorry. There is nothing. There is nothing. We are just surviving.
Yes, you are surviving with Casper. I am surviving with Lieutenant and my friends. And the world will continue in whatever way we can make it.
Trust me, Casper. Casper has a way to survive. Do not worry. He'll be fine.
Casper seems to be very active in preparing for the Russians. Do you think he can really hold out when they come?
Of course he can hold out. Long enough for him to do whatever he needs to do. Whatever that is, of course.
Of course. Do you know what he's preparing?
Of course I do. I am his right-hand man. He and I will survive. Do not worry about it. Do not worry about it. And we'll go back to Doddy and Rick. The young girl leads you inside into a kitchen. It says, you can put it there. And you can see there is another small generator there that's got a few parts that have been taken apart. And that is our old generator. This one will replace it. It is old. Can I get you something to drink? Milk? We have fresh milk.
That'll do.
Fresh milk.
Milk sounds mighty fine. Yes.
She can just please sit. I'm sure you have had a journey. You saw what we have to live in. It is unpleasant, but you know. We
had a late night and an early start, so anything that you've got to fill our bellies would be much appreciated.
We can, of course, accommodate you a little bit. I do not have much food to spare, but she kind of reaches and lifts up. She's got this like ceramic chicken. She kind of lifts the lid off of it. that 1980s sort of ceramic chicken type thing that us Brits. She kind of pulls up, and there's 2 chicken eggs. She kind of puts the chicken eggs down. They were fresh yesterday. They should be fine for a while. And she pours some wooden cups, and you can see some milk. I'm afraid it is not processed and pasteurized. It is fresh this morning. Please drink.
Tastes like home. Thank
and
you.
Yes, you kind of, Doddy.
Actually,
Yeah, Doddy, for you especially, with your background, you kind of feel, the kitchen, a different country, hundreds of miles away from home in Scotland, but the same sort of things are here. Maybe it's a bit more primitive in some regards. But the same sort of things, the same style of
the same noises, the same smells. It's all there.
Exactly.
And Doddy, for the first time, Rick, you see Doddy actually get his shoulders up and his head up in the chair, and he just looks around, and that kind of pallid type of complexion and skin that the colour slowly gets back into him, and you just see him looking a little bit more upright and proper as he's sitting there taking it all in. So yeah, he's looking very happy.
She kind of looks at you. Did you know this? But you come from a farming background, don't you?
Aye, my family's there, and I'm going to be getting back to them as soon as we can. After we're done here, we've got a few errands to run, and then we're heading north, trying to get away, get back home like this. It's a nice place we've got here.
It is hard. I hope you find your way home.
Me too.
I lost my mother many years ago, and my brother, he has seen things that he does not tell me about, but you see the look in his face, and it is almost lost.
He just needs some time, and he needs some care, and he needs some love, and I'm sure this place will get him right back onto it. Get his hands working, make sure he's with the land. When you get rid of those mines, get those fields ploughed, get him there. And once he starts doing an honest day's work again, it'll come back to him. You'll see. The land will heal him.
The mines are outside to protect us. We have a small area of land. We cannot do much. We cannot open up more land because we cannot protect it. There is me, my father, my brother, and and Grandpa Oleg. He's not my grandfather, but he was in a nearby farm when...
No, lass, don't you worry. It might not be this year, but it'll be the next year.
She kind of looks over at Rick. I'm sorry to say, it was Americans that burnt his farm down and stole his stuff. I do not believe that all Americans are evil. I was due to go to college, and this terrible war started. I was just finished school. I had a friend and a place to stay in Poznan, not too far away from here. But Poznan, it is no more. They say who killed a bomb or something, took it out. I've not been up there to check. Are you going via Poznan? Are you going that way?
Well, I don't know. LT would be able to tell you better than us.
I do not know. I had a friend, and I do not know if he survived.
What's his name?
He was. It is strange. He was East German. His name was Kurt.
Kurt. Well, if we go through there, I'll see if I find him.
He's probably dead. I do not hope my hope, but Even if you went through there, you would not be coming back here.
No, but we might be able to tell him to come towards you. I'm sure more hands could help make your farm a safer place.
I have a picture. I think I have a picture. I will go look, please. Enjoy the milk. Rushes. Oh, go.
Before you go, lass, if you're going to reclaim this land when this is all over, you're going to need to get those mines out of there. Like, do you have the locations of them all? Do you know where they are?
My brother put them. I know where not to go. We go out through here. It is to stop people getting in. Like I said, Grandpa Oleg, he had his farm burnt by Americans. There are bandits out there that would steal our chickens. This stops them. Well, we have the guns and the generator. The generator, it helps us keep the animals safe.
I understand. Listen, lass. Listen. When this is all over, when it's all over and this land gets returned back, just be careful. Make sure that you're farming again and stick with the land, and it'll do you right. You believe in it, and it'll keep you and all your family and on the family that's still to come. It'll keep you right. So just look after it. Look after what you've got. You're blessed here, so you are.
We have to, and you're right, we have to be positive. This is our home. I was born here. My father was born here. My mother is buried here. You seem too nice to work for that Casper. He and my father, I have had many disagreements. I heard a story that they both chased my mother when they were youngsters.
We heard that too.
My father, he warned me about Casper. I don't know what he's doing, but this is not good.
No. Stay away from him, lass. Just stay away from him. You're too young and you've got too much to offer somebody like him. Then you give him...
Drink your milk. It is okay. I'll be back. I see if I find the picture. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Parker.
Yes.
Ludwig and Jan lead you through the side of the building. You can see there's a backfield. There's some potato crops being grown. You can see some chickens, and this is the first time you've seen chickens in ages. You can see as it goes on, and it extends quite a bit. There's a grass pasture. There's a couple of cows. There's 2 cows that are there. And right at the end, you see it looks like some sort of helicopter, kind of just kind of laying there. It looks in a hell of a state, and let me show that to you. You should see a little hand out there. Just click on the image and it'll make it a proper size, Croy. Can you do that? Okay, there you go. You have to stretch it out. But yeah, it is a dilapidated. There's 2 dilapidated helicopters there. And they look wrecked. They look definitely military. You can see Ludwig, please do not say anything about what you've seen here. You do not want to upset Casper. Come, I need to find if the gearbox is still okay.
Is that what he's building, is it? The helicopter?
No, he has a helicopter. It is damaged. He just needs the transmission. This is the not the same type of. I am not a aircraft mechanic. I just build engines, but we think we can modify the this Polish transmission to fit in the American helicopter he has in outside the town. Kind of ducks his head and gets his toolkit and starts walking forward.
Did Rick tell us exactly where it was?
You probably would have said you know where it is. He didn't say
Yeah,
like
I know where it is.
Yeah, he knows where it is. But he wasn't gone that long to be outside of town.
No, that's right.
Okay, so you can see he goes over and yeah, these things will never fly, but you can see where the rotor blade is. And you can see the Ludwig kind of grabs a broken step ladder and just kind of steps up and starts looking. I do not know what you can do, but I would not go outside of the fences and the walls. There's mines out there, I'm told.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Why doesn't Casper want anybody to know about the helicopter?
Why do you think?
I don't know, that's why I'm asking you.
Okay. If it is his escape route.
This is why he's not bothered about the Russians showing up, is it?
He's bothered. The helicopter he has can carry some cargo, but he has a lot of stock hidden away.
But he
gives the
intends to
town
leave everybody behind, does he?
He gives the town a lot. He is from Tareq, you know. He had business
He takes a
elsewhere.
lot from the town as well.
He keeps us going. He is bad, but not all bad. Yeah, we generate fuel. They provide the materials and we make the fuel for them. He distributes the fuel. He makes the alcohol that they drink. He brings in medical supplies. The town is, without him, would be lost. I fear if he goes. If the Soviets are coming and they are intent on finding something, I do not know what they are after. I do not pay attention to things that go on.
Well, if you're a little worried about him leaving, you're in the perfect position to stop him, aren't you?
You think it's that easy? Or what do you think I can do? I am 50 years old.
That's not the age, you know.
It is ancient. I have seen people younger than me die of diseases in this place. I lost my wife and my son in the war. I have seen things that I am sure you have seen things. You're a soldier. You are part of the problem. No offense. I do not know about politics. All I know is
Dropped out again, dude.
we are alive, and that is it. You know, these people here, they are good people. I know that Casper does not like Stanislaw, and Stanislaw does not like Casper.
That's funny, you seem to imply that they were old friends.
I come from Tareq as well. I know things. Stanislaw and Casper fought often after Sophia, Gabriel's mother. She was a fine woman. She had a good heart, a good spirit.
What's the deal between Casper and Boris then?
Casper keeps Boris in the things that Boris wants. Boris protects Casper. No one would go against Boris. Boris is...
But he was Russian army, wasn't he?
He is Boris. He's a thug. He is a man who likes to inflict pain, and no one will go against Casper because Casper gives them what they need. He provides the town with the things that they need to survive. And like I said, it is a complicated situation. I must get back to work. If I am to eat, I need to work. And I need to work and get this gearbox and transmission shaft and whatever else that he wants. I get it off, and then maybe we fix it into Casper's helicopter, and he can fly out of here.
Who can fly a helicopter that Casper knows, anyway?
He has a pilot, yes. It was the... yeah, it is a pilot. I do not know. I have not seen him. Kind of gets back and climbs the ladder, starts working on the dismantling bits and taking bits out, and kind of looking. And he seems to be struggling a little bit. It's maybe a little bit out of his league. I wish I had a manual for this. You do not know anything about helicopters, do you? And best I had was fixing tractors. And stills.
There's a big difference, you know.
Yes. But more life depends on stills and tractors now than this hunk of junk. I do not know. I do not know. Meanwhile, Kobe. You are kind of out there with Boris, and see Boris is now pulls out the keys out of the car and then kind of puts them in his pockets. Yes, the American Hummers have button starts, but the Polish ones, no, they have keys. Best I not know, lose the keys. And he starts walking towards the gate. I'm hungry.
Don't worry, if you lose them, you could always just hotwire it. Why don't you and I arm wrestle here for a bit? Come, let's see if the Russian strength is stronger. Yeah.
Kobe, fuck off. I need to get something from the farm.
Boris, you're not to go there.
You are welcome to try and stop me if you want.
Yeah, at this point, I'm going to probably have my weapon leveled towards him. Not in a hostile way, but kind of more ready than what he is.
I'm going to aim a gun at him nicely.
Yeah, but I'm just there.
Look, he's Canadian. Of course he's going to be doing it nicely.
Boris, don't step towards the house.
He kind of turns and looks at you. Puts his hands up and then slowly reaches his left hand into his pocket where the keys were. You hear him rattling the keys. Holds the keys. I think you have a more present problem here. I have the keys. He kind of looks at the field to his left. Looks to the field. There's a minefield over there, isn't there? He smiles. Do you want the keys in the minefield? Or do you want to shoot me? Think of Casper.
Boris, I don't want to shoot you. I will.
I do not think you have the balls to shoot a man in cold blood. Shall we see?
Actually, I will raise the rifle in the air and fire off a shot. That should be loud enough.
Okay.
And I'll bring it back down.
You raise the rifle. You fire a single shell into the air. Everyone else hears a single shell, a gun fire from outside somewhere. And we'll end it there. Until next time.
Nice.